Hey guys, what's going on? Sandy here, and I got an interesting one. So, maybe a week or so ago, I actually posted a short video, and I was asking if anybody had any guitar topics that they wanted me to talk about. And one of my viewers, they actually asked about how to solo over chords. You can see the message, the comment in the picture here. Now, it's a great question, and I'm assuming what they meant was how to solo over chord changes. So, let's talk about it. Now, here's the thing. You actually asked about probably one of the most difficult guitar things that you can do. Soloing over chord changes is pretty advanced. Honestly, not to, show them a total geek, but it's kind of like reading the Silmarillion before you read the Lord of the Rings. Like, you gotta walk before you can run. So I started thinking about how to do this, and frankly, there's a few steps, okay? So the first step for me is what I think is to know where the notes are on the entire neck, okay? Because if you're going to be soloing over chord changes, you need to know the neck inside and out. There's just no way around it. So that's actually going to be my first lesson, leading up to how to solo over chord changes. All right. And the good news is, like the title, the thumbnail for this video, it didn't lie. You actually only really need to memorize two strings. Okay. Those two strings are the E string and the A string. All right? You're going to have to memorize those. But the good news is that the rest of the strings you can actually just base off of those ones, the fact that you've memorized them. All right? Now, I should mention, before I really get into this, I'm doing this in standard tuning. If you start messing around with different tunings, which, don't get me wrong, they're a lot of fun, but it kind of makes this whole method kind of useless. So standard tuning. So just for the record, standard tuning from the top to the bottom: E, A, D, G, B, and E. All right? Very good. So the notes for these two strings, okay? First off, with the E string, all right? E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Now B jumps right to C. C sharp, D, D sharp, and back to E. All right? The good news is once you've memorized the top string, the thickest one, you're already a third of the way done, because the E string is the exact same tuning as the one at the bottom. All right? So there, we're already two strings down. Now, the second string, A sharp, B, then we go straight to C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and back to A. And of course, at the 12th fret, it completely repeats itself. All right? So you got to memorize those. There's no way around it, okay? So once you have those two memorized, here's the trick that everybody uses to memorize to know where all the other notes are on the other strings. All right? So I'm going to go with A just because it's easy. A on the E string is at the 5th fret. Okay? Going to do a bit of a close-up. Right here. Now, to find the third string, okay, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's another A note. They're both A notes, okay? So that gives us a really good reference point for the third string down. In this case, like the D string, okay? I know that's an A string because that's an A. Again, A, A. All right? Now the same thing actually works for the G string. See, so if I go down one, that is a D, right? Okay? If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a D again. I made a mess up there, but they're both the same. They're both D. All right? So, we're already five strings down. There's only 6 strings on the guitar. This is making it really, really easy for us to memorize this. Okay? Now, the B string. It has there's a similar reference point you can use, okay, but there's one catch. So, if I go down another string, I just did the A, the D, this happens to be a G, and this is a G because if I go backwards, that's a G, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G. Well, similar on the B string. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is a G. They're both G. Now, the reason you have to jump an extra string, there is a whole music theory thing behind it, but essentially, the B string is tuned half a step higher, all right? There's a reason for it, but ultimately it really doesn't matter. But there you go. That is the reference point that all guitarists, really, that I know, use to memorize all the notes on the fretboard. It does get to a point where you can just kind of look at it and be like, oh, yep, G, all right? But when you're starting out, that's the easiest way, is to use the top 2 strings as reference points, all right? Now, once again, all of this, I can tell you all of this, but unless you practice, unless you are working at it, it's not going to stick. It really is just practice, but that's really all you need to know, is the top 2 strings. You can use those as the reference point for the rest of the neck. Some practice, you'll know all the notes on this thing. It won't be a problem, all right? So, thanks for watching. This is Sandy's Guitars. I'm going to do a follow-up. This really is just step 1. Again, the whole point is to get you to the point where you can solo successfully over chord changes. But there's a lot of steps leading up to that. This is kind of the first step. Anyway, thanks again, guys. This is Sandy's Guitars. Please like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment with something else you want to learn on the guitar. I'm always looking for suggestions. I love hearing from you guys. Check me out on all my other social medias. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook at Sandy's Guitars. Links are in the description. Thanks, guys, and I'll catch you later. Take care.